In today's philosophical alphabet, A as in a priori. A priori is a term that you will sometimes hear being tossed around by non-philosophers in podcasts, often by people trying to sound smart.
Right now, if I wanted to manipulate you in some way, I would craft my strategy for this podcast a priori, and then I would tilt the podcast toward that end.
It is important to note that this is very often not the sense of a priori that philosophers mean. In the Peterson clip, he seems to mean something like beforehand. Philosophers talk about a priori when they think about justification or knowledge, and contrast this with a posteriori justification or knowledge. A posteriori justification is in some sense dependent on experience and empirical observations or statements. A priori, in contrast, is independent of experience and empirical statements. One prime example of a priori knowledge is the claim that all bachelors are unmarried males. To prove this claim, your job is not to walk around and ask all unmarried males whether they are indeed bachelors. Rather, this claim is said to hold independent of any empirical matters, purely on conceptual or theoretical grounds. So if you want to be a smartass in your next conversation with smart-sounding podcasters, you can nitpick them on their use of a priori.